Dave LaHait was a Salisbury resident growing up. Today, he would have gone to Triton Regional High School. Thankfully, back in the 50s, Salisbury residents attended Amesbury High School, and as a result, Dave attended Amesbury from 1955 to 1959. He was an outstanding athlete in 3 sports, attaining 10 varsity letters at Amesbury High School. He was voted best athlete of his senior class. After graduating, he went on to the University of Maine, where he participated in football and track. He came back to Amesbury in 1969 to teach science and health his first year. Then, he was a physical education teacher until 1991, when he retired. Dave also coached football, basketball, and track while teaching at Amesbury. Dave Bailey, who was an assistant football coach and track coach with Dave, said, "It was great working with him. I learned a lot from him, and it was so much fun being around Dave. He made coaching very enjoyable." In football, while in high school, he played all 4 years, earning 3 letters, and was a co-captain his senior year. For the last 2 games of his freshman year, he and teammate Bruce Pike were honored to be called up to the varsity team coached by the legendary Tony Tazzaneri. Bruce Pike said that Dave was a great leader, athlete, and a person who always gave 100%. During his teaching career, he was an assistant coach in football from 1969 until 1977. Amesbury won a state championship and 2 Cape Ann League championships while he was an assistant coach. He also coached in the Harry Aganis All-Star football game. While in high school, he also played basketball for 4 years, lettering 3 years, and was co-captain his senior year. Dave was the team high scorer his junior year with 210 points, which placed him as the 6th highest scorer in the NEC. He was also team high scorer senior year with 261 points, which placed him 5th in the NEC. Also his senior year, he led the league with 64 free throws. In Burt Spofford's history of Amesbury High School basketball, he rated him as one of the most outstanding individuals for the 1957-58 and 1958-59 respective seasons. In his junior year, Dave set a single-game scoring record of 33 points against Danvers in the new Tazzaneri gym. He was elected to the NEC All-Star team his senior year. During his tenure as a coach, he was head boys basketball coach for 4 years. Then he became the head girls coach for 10 years and was selected the area coach of the year 3 times. The third sport Dave played was track during his years at Amesbury High School, and he led it all 4 years and was co-captain his senior year. He helped Amesbury to have 3 undefeated seasons during his 4 years. He was the record holder in the high jump and was the state Class D high jump champion in 1957. Note, in those days, they didn't have nice padded foam mats for the high jump. They had sawdust in the pits. He was an assistant track coach and helped Amesbury become an outstanding program in the Cape Ann League. Amesbury was Cape Ann League dual meet champions in 1981, 1983, and 1984. They also won 4 straight Cape Ann League meets. Dave coached the jumpers and sprinters, and they were some of the best in the history of Amesbury track. Congratulations to 2015 Athletic Hall of Fame inductee Dave LaHait, class of 1959.
With this presenter, Dave Bailey, Mr. Dave LaHait.
Wow, I'm overwhelmed. It's so nice to be here and to see so many friends, people I haven't seen for at least 20, 30 years. You haven't changed, and my heart is still the same. Amesbury High School has a very great and rich tradition in athletics, from its sports teams to its coaches to its athletes. When I was informed by Dick Peak that I was going to be a member of the Amesbury High School Hall of Fame, I was overjoyed, proud, thrilled, honored, but more than anything else, humbled that I'll be a part of this rich tradition. It's also a privilege and honor to be going in with my fellow inductees, many who I know on a personal and professional level. Being from Salisbury, we had a choice of what high school we wanted to go to, Newburyport or Amesbury. Well, as a young boy, my dad would take me to Landry Stadium and watch Amesbury High football. Landry Stadium back then was always full of people because it was the only thing to do on a Saturday. And I remember those games. And Tazzaneri was the coach, and they were winning all the time. In Thanksgiving game, you had to be there at 8:30, 8:45, because if you weren't, you could not get in the stadium. It was that packed. So those are the memories that I have of Amesbury High School. And why I chose Amesbury. But the main reason why I chose Amesbury, I was waffling a little bit because we had Bob McAnuff and Willie St. Cyr and a bunch of people from Salisbury going to Newburyport. But my mother came up to my room one day and said, you know, David, you're thinking about Newburyport and Amesbury? Forget it. I'm going to Amesbury. There's no doubt about it, and that's it. And I can't thank her enough. I had a wonderful, wonderful 4 years at Amesbury High School. I had a great faculty. I had Roland Woodwell, Miss Lee, I had Bikes Wallace, Mike Ananian. And there was somebody else there that played a very, very important role in my life, J. Sandy Roy. If it wasn't for J. Sandy Roy, I would not have gone to private school, Maine Central Institute, for a year, or the University of Maine. He wrote letters and made phone calls for me. And that's why it's such an honor to be here on this stage with his presence here. I had great coaches. I had Don Zabriskie in football and basketball, Bob Sullivan and Tino Bertolini in football, Joe Alex in basketball, Bert Fecto in track and field. And then I had Bikes Wallace and Frank Kazaka. And I was very fortunate and privileged for 3 weeks to be with Coach Tony Tessineri. Every year they would take 2 freshmen up, Bruce Pike and myself, went up for 3 weeks. And a classmate of mine said, boy, David, you're lucky to be up there with the varsity. And here's my thought, I'm going to go up there and get killed. I'm going to hold the bags, they're going to murder me. But it didn't happen. Coach Tessineri did not let that happen. Of course, I held the bags. Andre Fortin probably leveled me a few times on those bags. But it was a great experience. And one of the things Coach Tessineri did before a Thanksgiving game, he would take you to a football game. I remember going to see Brandeis College play Boston College University. Now, Boston College University had a great terror of a lineman there, Tino Bertolini. And Brandeis had a little All-American quarterback that when he had the time could throw the ball and was outstanding. And it's someone that we all know, Jim Stalin. So those 2 names register with me. But most importantly in high school, it's your teammates. You cannot score a touchdown without someone blocking or passing for you. You can't score a basket without someone passing the ball to you. You can't win in track and field without everybody combining and working together, especially in a relay. I had great teammates, and it's too many to mention. Bruce Pike was one. He was from Salisbury. He and I went all through Salisbury Memorial, Amesbury High School, took the bus after football practice back to Salisbury, hitchhiked on Friday nights after coming back from Marblehead, Swampscott, and Woburn, 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night to get home. And they were just so precious and good to me. And I just really had good coaches, good teachers, and good teammates. And I was very, very fortunate to be able to come back to Amesbury High School. And I can only thank Doug Wood for that. Doug was just a recently appointed head football coach at Amesbury, and he would stop at the Agawam Diner for a cup of coffee on the way to Amesbury. I was the assistant football coach at Beverly, Mass., so I would go from Beverly, stop at the Agawam Diner for a coffee, and then go teach and coach. So we did that for a whole year, and he finally said to me, well, why don't you come to Amesbury and teach and coach? I said, sure. And he pulled some strings, worked some politics, and I got the job. And I can tell you, I had a fantastic years at Amesbury. I had great faculty members. I got to work with 2 of the finest people you could ever want to have as teachers, Ellie White and Gail Pettengill. I worked with Doug. I came across a lot of great student athletes. About 4 or 5 of them are sitting right there. And it was great. Had a lot of great memories. And I am very fortunate to be up here, and I'm very proud to be. And very, very proud to be, and honored. And I want to thank the committee and Bruce Pike for nominating me, the committee for selecting me, and all the people that made this possible. Because without them, I would not be up here. And I'm going to treasure this moment forever. Thank you very much.